Welcome back to the next video in the XKR restoration. As you can see, pointing at the very rusty sill end plate here. Obviously we've got the damaged or the rusted away seals and stuff. Yeah, so we're going to try and replace this. This is what we made for the other side, so something similar to that. Try and keep this shape that's here, quite like that. Obviously gives it some strength as well. This piece I made for the other side, but it's way too thin, and it wasn't until I cut, I couldn't really tell the other side because all this had rusted away, and it wasn't until I started cutting into here that I realized it was a much thicker metal. So we're going to effectively do the same thing again, try and keep this shape. I don't want to replace, you could just go straight up here and along here and put in a flat piece. Like I say, with the plastic seal cover that's over this, you're never going to see it, but I'll know, and I want it done correctly, or as close to correctly as I can. So what I plan to do is use just make a template, use some cardboard. If Abbott want to sponsor me, that won't be that'll be very much appreciated, but effectively most guys have got some kind of cardboard that they can use, and I'm basically going to make push this into here, make a template, and then cut it out in metal. One thing I did just want to point out at this, just here, look at this. I have shown this before, I think. It's been a while, but look at this. Look at this rust. It's kind of corrosion stuff. It's kind of, this part here is aluminium. But look at that. It's just like, it's like crystals. So that will all be cleaned off and then protected with some of that epoxy. Anyway, slight distraction. So let's get back to this. So ideally, I just want to come down this way. This doesn't have, because I hadn't finished it when I cut into it. It doesn't have that kink in it. It doesn't have this piece. If you look here, it actually goes, well, if there wasn't the expansion due to the rust, you'd see it actually goes in a bit, then starts to come out, and then there is a like a body seam here, not a seam, what do you call it? Basically a step, and so it sort of comes down, it goes in, out, back in again, and then follows a curve. So first things first, obviously we're way too big at the minute, so we probably only need let's go from, if we assume, and that's a big chunk of goop, let's get rid of that. You could use that just to hook it off. There you go. Look at that. There's a hole there, straight from manufacturing, look. Wow, hence the big dollop of goop. Well, we're going to fix that, so don't worry. So if we go from here, if we put that up there somewhere, you can just grab the worst of it. Let's go that way a bit. And then so we can put it up there. It's definitely too much off of there, so put it back this way. pretty close. As long as we add a bit more there, because as you can see how thick this is, it's certainly not going to be that thick. So that's that part, and then obviously we just need to get the shape for this edge that is in there. So let's just give it a bit of pressure and see if we can get that shape. A bit of dirt will help. So there you go, got a bit of an outline for that edge. Yeah, that's basically what we're going to aim for. But we don't need, I don't want to use, we probably want to do something like that, like we did on the other side. Basically because this stuff, it's thick metal, and it's, sure, here and here is all rotten away, but something like down here, plus of course if I go any further I have to put all this edge in as well. This is the there's a pipe here that goes within the sill that happens on the convertibles, not on the coupe, but on the convertibles there's this pipe, I believe, give a bit more rigidity to the chassis. So yeah, basically I'll probably come up here and along here, maybe up here and then up there, which is pretty much what I did before. As you can see, something like that. But obviously this was for the other side, so it's in reverse. So that's what we're going to make. Let's see how we get on. Okay, so here's our piece of cardboard. We sort of get this line. Like it should follow around here like that, then something like that, and goes off in that direction. This is what we're going to use. Maybe rusty, but I'll clean all that off. Yeah, looks like I cut those off. These were, like I said earlier, in one of the other videos, these were actually the mounting plates for 5-volt power supplies. Power supplies were 5 volts at 300 amps, and we had 2 of them in a 19-inch rack, and they were held something like, well, I think this is the left, both of these are the same size, but one would go one way in the 19-inch rack and the other one, so they'd be side by side. And these are about 14 gauge if I remember rightly. Yeah, so 14 gauge. What's that in English, I guess? .078. Anyway, 14 gauge. So we're going to clean these up and then cut them out. The reason I've got 2 is I know a good friend of mine is going to need one of these, so I might as well make 2 while I'm at it. It doesn't take hardly any longer. So yeah, we'll make 2 of them and then go from there. So we do need, I do want to put a bit extra on this edge because obviously we've got that the wide part of it that's rusted up. So see if we can find one that doesn't have all these holes in. Find a place, because there's some mounting holes here and we obviously don't want to use those. That's not big enough. I mean, we can always weld them up again, it's not a problem. Might as well just do something like that then. Give us a bit extra. So something along those, that's okay. So that's what we're going to cut out, and then we'll clean this up. Yeah. Okay, so I just checked, and this area here does not need replacing, so keep as much original metal as possible. So we're effectively going to cut down here, and we're going to cut along here and up there. However, before we do that, we need to bend along this edge to get this something that looks similar to that. Obviously not like that, but something that looks similar to that. And it is probably, apart from this bend, this cut here, probably better to do that while I don't know. I think we'll cut it out and see what it does. We'll cut this one and we'll cut that one at the same time. So, like I say, what we're trying to do is to get this effect, you see. So what we need to do is to bang that back, basically. Got some cold chisels here. Probably the squarest. So you can see we're starting to get a small amount. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. So here you go. As you can see, we have got some of that. We've got some twist and bend in there, but that's easy to pull out, but we'll straighten out. So we just need to go back along a bit, make it a bit bigger, a bit deeper. As you can see, it was deeper on this piece. We're probably a bit sharper on this one. I'll go and have a look at the original and see whether or not I just thought it was a bit curved, that's all. So yeah, we'll have a look at the original and carry on. Wow, all looks good, except it's the wrong bloody way, isn't it? Sorry about my French. The outside should be going in. The inside should be coming out. So it's a good job I made two. Might have to make another one now. Okay, let's try it again. So this time the outer edge is the bit that needs to go back. Actually, like that. Okay. So there we have it to start with. Still need a bit tidying up, you know, we can work these edges a bit nicer. But in effect, we're replacing, you know, looking at the current one, basically, you know, this much is all rusted away. Well, you need something to replace it. You know, there is some corrosion on all of those bits, and you'll probably find when I dig into it there'll be holes in it, but yeah, I think that looks not too bad. I'm not too happy about that bit there, but we'll just play around with it, improve it a little bit, and yeah, there we go. So once that's welded in, that should look very much like, you know, you won't see this edge. Should look very much like the factory version. He says laughingly. We can always put a little bit of, yeah, but you know, bearing in mind this side also has, or this area also tends to have like stone chip and goodness knows what else, whole load of goop on it. And the original had, you know, 3 or 4 mil of goop, which I've got to dig off, which I'll show you in another video. But I think I showed you on the first when I did the other side. But yeah, just need to do a little bit more playing around with this, and I guess next time it'll be cutting this out. So yeah, just carrying on, straightening this out a bit. As you can see, I don't have any other special tools, just a plain old claw hammer, and I do have a planishing hammer, but don't need it for this, and a vise. That's all I've used, and you know, I'm sure if you had a proper tool or something, or you built a jig, or you know, there's better ways of doing it, but this is all I've got. And it sort of works, so why not do it this way? Yeah, a bit better. Try and straighten it out a bit too. So yeah, there we go. Goes in like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, you can see this here. We're going to replace it with that there like that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut here and then right on this edge. You can see where that's so fat because of the rust. Basically I'm going to cut that edge off flush, and then we can put this on here and you can see what it looks like. So there is all this stuff on there. By the time you skeep out some of this, we should, yeah, maybe we need a little bit of a tweak here and there, but yeah, looks like we need a little bit here, a little bit of a tweak there. Apart from that, bearing in mind this piece of metal is actually going to be fixed onto here like so. So you have the thickness, like that. So you will have the thickness of that piece of metal on the edge here. So yeah. There you go. That's why I needed to do it. Oops, don't move that one, Jeff. You want that in that place. So we're going to have to cut out the section here, from maybe 7 or 8 centimeters, 3 or 4 inches, something like that. Cut it out. Have a look inside, because that there is one of the inner panels. Not sure if you can see that. Yeah. So this panel here, this particular piece, we're going to have to cut into here and cut out that piece and obviously this piece and replace them both. But they do need something to weld to, hence we're replacing up here. If we replace that piece there, where are we? So we'll replace that piece there. Then once we get all this stuff out, there's obviously some sealant. As well as rust. Once you get all that stuff out, this will fit pretty well. Quite happy with that. And if that goes up a little bit, that brings this up, and you'll be able to see this edge all the way around the outside of this. Yeah, it'll be something like that. Obviously we need a little dip in here by the looks of things, that little bit there. So yeah, once we get that trimmed up, we can cut out all the old, put in the new. And once we've got this edge in and the lip here and the lip going, so the lip going this way and this way, then we can cut all this out and have something to weld to. So we just need to see where this goes in here. Just need to do that to that. You know, obviously there's a bit missing here, but when we weld it in, that will do that. Just trying to get this to match that view as much as possible. Yet another reveal. Okay, huh? So it does look like there's a bit of a fold in the metal there. See, that's no good there, so we'll have to look into this and see how much of that we've got to cut out and repair as necessary. One thing I did just want to show you is that a lot of that stuff in there is actually like some kind of panel sealant or joint seam sealer kind of stuff, or just plain old putty. So yeah, and if you look here, it's actually quite a big gap there. Yeah. 8 or 9 millimeters, third of an inch, something like that. And obviously this doesn't go to that edge, but what we need to do is how I did it on the other side. Is effectively you do that and work out where it does look like it's that sort of distance away, because it actually starts to come in here. If you just here, it's starting to get a bit closer. So we'll see. By the time we put that in there, that way round, yeah, we'll have to think about that, whether or not, what I've done on the other side is effectively that. I looked at this edge here and moved this lip we've got that there. I moved that to about just a little bit inside of that, or actually about that far inside. I guess by the time you put thick piece of metal in, going this way, going that way, and not far off that. Don't know, that seems an awful lot to me. But yeah, I'll do some more cleaning, cutting, and see where we get to. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Cheers, bye.